Hey, I'm Leon from the Cackling Jackal. Tonight I had a bit of a craft night. I had some friends over and we all just kind of built some stuff, so I figured let's show you what we're doing. So this here is my current project. I've got a mini in there for scale, so that's your standard minis, which are about, I think technically 2 inches tall or 1.5 inches tall. These are the official D&D minis that are coming out there, like $7 for a pack of 2. At least they are in Australia. And this is going to be a Guildhall that I'm building. So I've done a rough sketch of what I'm hoping to build. I found an image online, doctored it up a little, made it kind of feel a bit more like my own. And this is what we're going with roughly. So it's kind of like, it's like 2 buildings, and it's kind of like they've expanded on it over time and made it more grand and bigger and fancier and everything else. So the core structure is 2 buildings. We've got a bridge kind of plateau level on top, and then from there there's structures on top with like towers and spires and flags and all other manner of magical things that make something look fanciful. The actual act of building this has been a little tricky, but also very fun. The cool thing with this is everything will pull apart into sections. So the bridge comes off as one layer. I'll put that in the middle there for now. Now this is going to be tricky to do with one hand, so please bear with me. Both these buildings are identical at the moment, however they won't be. I imagine this left-hand one to be more of the Guildhall, where there'll be like kitchens and bars and tavern-y kind of feel, and I imagine it's where the people will go to generally congregate. In my head, I am imagining this one on the right-hand side to be more of a like dorm kind of area, possibly where people sleep and stay and like rooms kind of feel, because this like guild itself has both got, it's kind of meant to be a home for a whole heap of people. I imagine the top levels will be where the higher up guild members will be, maybe like the guild heads or the people running the house. Potentially where training might happen. There might be a transportation room or something like that with like, you know, transportation glyphs and other bits and pieces. Haven't quite fleshed out the full details of the higher end of the guild yet, as none of my players will be going there for a while. But anyway, let me show you the insides of this. So the cool thing is with this, everything comes apart and is modular, like I said. In this first part, let's take this off here. The roof comes off. Now, there's nothing really too fancy inside of this roof. I may paint on it later and make it look a little more interesting, but for now, there's no worries. Inside the room will have stuff, however, so there'll be some bits and pieces like tables and chairs and stuff that will semi-permanently be attached to the room. If I'm going to do any walls, like permanent walls, I'll do that here. If I'm going to do stairs, all other manner of fixtures will be in these rooms and they'll be semi-permanent. Now, originally I had these as fully open doors. I since changed my mind and decided I like them more as 2 doors. You can kind of see there's a piece sitting in there. Now I have to glue that in. I haven't done it yet, so it's probably going to fall out. But that's the look I'm going for more than having the open look. I'll show you the difference. There you go. You can see it's like open. It looked okay, but one sec, I'll just drop my piece. But it, I don't know, to me this didn't have the right feel. It was a simple cut at the time, but you know, end of the day, it's not quite right. So I'm just going to glue that in there, roughly. I'll space it out evenly. And I feel like that's going to look a lot better. One second. So this next level comes off. 1 second. Now everything is held in by these little tabs. These tabs basically line everything up and make sure that they will go back exactly where I want it to go. And they kind of got a bit of stability. So if I'm ever moving this now, this is all glued to a, what's that? It's about a 12mm, either 10 or 12mm MDF board. So it's got a bit of rigidity to it. Now I'm going to be painting all this and sealing it. So hopefully none of this should move. The cool thing is I can paint it in sections. So it should all be quite rigid and well coated. And the inside's going to look pretty fun. I imagine this top level to be probably similar to like the Guildhall area. However, on this side, I imagine like it's going to be like the mezzanine kind of above. I may or may not cut out a section in this so you can kind of see down and see what's going on. I imagine this to be kind of a little bit of a quieter area where downstairs might be a bit more rowdy and, you know, typical tavern kind of feel. I imagine upstairs to be a little bit quieter, maybe have some like more couches and kind of chill out areas. Still deciding on the contents of this. I kind of just know what the building wants to look like, so I'm going to build the building first and then kind of go through and blueprint it out as to what's where. Anyway, show you the next level. So this will all come off, and then we have the bottom layer. So this bottom layer is where I'm imagining the bar will be. So I'm either thinking I'm going to have an L-shaped bar or maybe a straight bar, I'm not sure. There'll be tables and chairs, be a fireplace, maybe a hearth. This will kind of be the area my players will be spending their most amount of time, especially at the beginning of the game. Now, I imagine that this guild's going to kind of have like ranks, and as you get to certain ranks, you'll be able to access different areas. To begin with, the players won't have a whole lot of renown within this guild, so this will kind of be their primary area. As I said, I imagine this other side to be more of like a lodgings kind of thing, where there might be beds and bunks and rooms they can stay in. They won't be the most amazing rooms, they'll probably be quite plain, but in saying that, it's free lodgings for the party. So pretty much the bottom levels of these two buildings is where I imagine the party will start. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to like have there's like a whether somebody's guarding the entrances further up, or whether it's like a magical ward, or how I'm going to do it yet. But for now, just going to build it, and we'll figure out the details a little bit later. Anyway, so it actually goes together back pretty easy, which is nice and good, and having all those locking pins means everything slots into place nice and quick. So there's that. This is the next layer. Locks in. And then this goes, man, this is hard to do with one hand holding a camera, but well, this is where those locking pins help. This means you don't have to be too finicky. So that's the back, that's the front. 1 second, guys, let me line this up. Okay, so this is currently a surprise for my players. Now, they probably will end up seeing this. Some of them have seen it already. 2 of them, because 2 of them will help me tonight. I'll go into that a little bit later. But I have got quite a big party. I think we have roughly 8 or 9 players. Now, not all of them will be playing full-time. I think 1 or 2 of them will be playing part-time. So on average, I can expect about 6 or 7 players each session. It is a higher amount of players than what I was originally expecting, but when you start inviting people and they go, oh, I got friends who want to play, and I got friends who want to play, so... plus, I am friends with most of them anyway, so I really do like playing with these guys. I've played with them in other campaigns before, so it will be really fun to play together. Yeah, so this is the current stage. I will keep you informed as we keep going. Scale-wise, as you can see, they fit through the doorways pretty easy, especially if they're these normal kind of standard height. There are some minis who've got their swords above their heads or a little bit bigger, who won't necessarily fit through the doorways as such. Now, that's not going to be too much of an issue, because pretty much any time the players are going to be in a room, the roof will be off and be disassembled to that level. Therefore, you'll have unlimited space above. You'll be able to see in from most angles. Plan to have a lot of stuff going on inside this building, and even if this building hasn't got a lot of encounters in it as such, I almost want to have it there most sessions, kind of like a DM screen for myself too. It's a bit of fun for me to build. 2, it's something visual for the party to look at and be excited about. And I think having certain areas where they can't access straight away will kind of create a lot of mystery around this guild, which is what I'm really hoping to create. Anyway, so that's what I've done tonight. I had some friends over. Best Productions has been building some stuff for me today. Now, this isn't all done today. He's been doing this over a couple of days. But this is what we got here. He has created a whole heap of tiny little wooden blocks. Now, these are quite easy to create when you have the right tools, such as a table saw and a bandsaw and other bits and pieces. You can kind of rip them up pretty quick. Same with the cut-off saw. So, as you can see, we've got a whole bucket full of wooden blocks and standard wood glue. Now, I've been using hot glue to glue mine together because I don't have the time to wait for every little bit to dry with wood glue. Especially because it's all finicky on different angles, I need it to bond pretty quick. I've been using the hot glue because I can put it on the edges, squeeze it in, and within 2 or 3 seconds pretty much, it's dried enough that I shouldn't have an issue. Now, the other thing with my construction on this is there's not really too much pressure or weight on any individual layer. Everything's kind of compressing on its own self. So basically, like, this is pressing down on that, that's pressing down on that. There's not a whole lot of twist or torsion. Therefore, having the the hot glue shouldn't really be an issue. Could have used hot glues for this. However, being a carpenter by trade, he's obviously decided to stick with the wood glue. I think that's a great idea too. The only issue with it is it takes a little bit longer to dry. The benefit of what he's been building though is the fact that because it's all stacked, it doesn't need a lot of clamps, and it's fine for it to wait and just keep going. Alright, so what we've got here is probably going to be a castle wall. Now, he's building stuff from his head as to things he thinks cool. I haven't got any idea where I'm going to use this in my campaign yet, but I guarantee you there'll be somewhere where there is a wall, there is obviously some kind of like, I forgot the name of it now, but the door into a castle. You know what? I'm going to be like 3 o'clock in the morning tonight, and I'm going to think, oh, that's it. It's like a drawbridge. That's exactly the word I'm looking for. The cool thing is with this is a lot of 3D terrain for the players to get in and around. I don't know where we're going to use this just yet, but I'm sure I can imagine some epic battle. By the time this is painted up, this is going to look absolutely sick. Once again, we're using like 10mm, roughly 10mm MDF base. And this is the other project he's been working on. This is where he started with. This is his original idea, and I think it is absolutely amazing. He cut all the blocks, he cut out some circles, and he has made a tower. Now, this didn't take him too long. I would say, after he did a little bit of thinking and figuring out, probably took him about 2 or 3 hours to get all this. Once again, he just used the circles as a guide, and we've got top layer here. Now, every layer will come down, and you'll be able to see what's layer below and below and below. We're thinking of doing columns like this, but against each wall of the thing, so they'll all stack on top of each other, and they'll have little cutouts. There's a window on this level on this side, there's a window on this level on that side, there's a doorway to this one here. We'll actually make a door to go inside. Once again, I have not got any idea where this is going to fit into the campaign. It won't be in the first couple of sessions, but by the time this is all painted up, that will be sick. This is another thing he actually made a little while ago. This is just out of foam. Now, this will be used in the first session. I have an idea of where I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to build a little bit of other stuff to go in and around it. But we were just mucking around with some foam, some hot wire cutters, a little bit of paint. And once again, on MDF. Mate, it's one of my favourite things to use. Now, this has been covered in sawdust for me doing this. However, I absolutely love the texture. Probably going to add a bit of aging to it, because right now these bricks look pretty uniform. So a bit of black. Where I'm thinking of using it is actually in a sewer, so it will have a bit of green to it, a bit of kind of a little bit more of an aged texture. Because I've got a few more bits and pieces I want to add to it. I really like having the physical sets for people to play around. Now, there will be a lot of theatre of the mind in terms of using battle maps and just describing scenarios. However, for me personally, having things like this is what I get excited about. I love building it for my players. I love getting them excited and surprised and bits and pieces. But 2, when you're playing, seeing the wall. Do you know what I mean? Like a DM or a game master can describe a scenario to you, but physically seeing the walls and knowing, oh yes, I can shoot over that, or there is a brick there, or there is a doorway, but no, I can see why 2 of us can't fit through, or bits and pieces. It really helps kind of bring the game to life. And you don't need to have everything, you just need to have some key points, some key areas. Like getting to this probably will be theatre of the mind in the fact that I'll describe the scenario, I might draw it on a battle map or this, that and the other, but when they physically get to the room, now I'm going to make this room important, getting to the room and exploring this room when you've got a physical thing to explore, for me, and I feel like for my players in particular, it really takes it to the next level. It really gets exciting. You kind of feel like you're really there, or you can actually see what's going on, and that's what's really exciting for me. It's one of the main reasons why I play D&D. I love the whole creation side of things, and I always make props and bits and pieces. But anyway, that is my progress for today. Once again, special shout out to Best Productions for making the tower and the wall, and I'll let you know how this progress goes. Anyway, once again, I'm Leon from the Cackling Jackal. If you like what you've seen, please like and subscribe. Comment below whether or not you want to see more of this, whether you want to see something different, if you've got ideas or suggestions or ways I could improve. Love to hear from you guys. Anyway, that's me done. Peace out.